Here's game. Let's get started. Oh. Burger King was big on those glasses. Yeah, I used to... God. I used to love getting toys and, like, collector things from, like, fast food chains, but I feel like they don't do that anymore. Saltroid crime. It's a very good term. Harvey Birdman. Oh, man. Harvey Birdman. Studying bird law. Let's go. Hey there, Sync. Oh, we need to do a cock squeeze. Hold on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What'd you miss? Nothing. We just started the stream. We started playing the game on time is all that happened. But now now I think it's this is literally the first thing in this chapter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Cock squeeze. I had to do like fucking 5 sets of those earlier today. Is it 5 or 6? I don't remember. Killed me. Killed my wrists. Holding it upside down? Yeah. I'm still not strong enough on my left hand to squeeze it, like, fully down. I can do it sometimes on my right, but doing it a whole lot fucking sucks. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it, you know? Okay, this is a good sign. I'm already, like, almost done my water. I guess I just have to drink beer. I'm right-handed. Right-hand dominant. But I've had some surgery on this side, so it's like I'm not sure sometimes it's not as much of a difference as it was before, but I'm pretty sure I'm still like this hand is stronger. I am right-handed. Okay. Here we go. Good morning. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy. Trucy Wright. That's right with a W. But not right. Right? We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please. Nope. Good morning. She speaks. Not bad, not bad. But I think you'd do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, don't tell her to smile. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Apollo, voice of reason. Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Okay, Sync, have a wonderful night. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hi. Bye. Thank you for taking my case. Okay. Well, that's a start, I guess. There she goes with the nail polish again. Why does it look like that? Is that just supposed to be her looking at her hand? Is that the... Or does she have a hand? Does she have a hand statue? I do not know. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Ooh, really? Girls. Fucking Apollo. The victim, Drew My Sham, was a I almost read that as forager again. Again, a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. Damn, District Courtroom number 3. How am I getting the closed captions? I'm using OBS Studio and I'm using a plugin that contacts Google's like not translation, speech to text software, and then it transcribes it and puts it on screen. It's pretty cool. It's not always accurate, especially because I tend to talk quickly sometimes, and not enunciate. But yeah. I really like having that plugin. I use OBS Studio. It's actually one of the reasons I switched to OBS Studio, also because Streamlabs OBS fucking sucks. But yeah, the ability to use plugins in OBS Studio is super helpful for streaming. Forager was just added to Game Pass. Wait, what game is I don't know what game Forager is. Is it like super chill and like you pick mushrooms and stuff? Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I think it's probably I think it's a pretty widespread plugin, so you could probably find a native Welsh or Scottish speaker. Actually, I know a few Scottish streamers. I don't know if they use... Yeah, I don't know. Courtroom number 3. Here we go. Well, we now, begin the, trial of, Vera Mysham. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy and he's looking around all nervous like. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is just a test of the jurist system, and the first step towards a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission! The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Oh yeah, there's like the whole new weird-ass legal system that we're testing that this is the first case for. God damn it. Stay hydrated. Hold on, let me stay hydrated here. How are you doing, Farty McFly? Gaffafa Wisp is Irish. Plum is not. For a moment, I thought the reading voice was coming from the game. No! Definitely not. I'm not that good to be mistaken for someone doing voice acting. There's unfortunately no voice acting. There's some animated scenes in the next game that have voice acting. I think it's like the first voice acted Ace Attorney game. Please tell me this whole thing's actually an elaborate surprise party for Apollo rather than an actual 24-hour conviction process. Apollo deserves that party. It's not gonna be a party for Apollo. Alive and kicking somehow, nice. How goes the stream? Pretty good, pretty good. Just starting the case. Already almost done with my water, and we're gonna drink beer. Okay. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists, judge well and judge cool. Fuck this guy. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was gonna say that. My apologies, Herr Judge. Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. Great system. And we're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Oh, dragon fruit rum, that sounds fucking amazing. What the fuck does the prosecution know all these... Yeah, why? Why does the prosecution know all these things and we don't? We know nothing. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter, Drew Mysham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Mysham. Objection! There wasn't any poison in the coffee. I forgot how to say this word. Octung. Octung. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. Oxtongue. Welcome to Japanese law. The mug? Residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Mysham's autopsy report added to the court record. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. Actung. Actung. Octung. I know that is not the last time I'll have to say that, and I'm gonna forget next time I have to say it as well. A touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. A journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation. Ah, right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world. In other words, a freelance journalist, right? If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Brushel? I dislike conclusions, specifically the jumping to aspect of conclusions. Preconceptions make park, sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote. But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I am offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote. The graphics went down. Well, no, I mean, this was, I was playing a remake before. This one never got a remake. I might just go back to the archives. Yeah, this one, Apollo Justice never got a remake. The next game looks really good. I don't know if it looks as good as the HD remake of the trilogy, though. How are you doing, Oz? Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, huh, Gavin? For me, the jury, still out. The journalist story. Apollo Justice sounds like somebody's Ace Attorney OC. I know. And that's the reason why I hated this game when it first came out. But the games later in the series, honestly, I feel like make this game better. For what they do with Apollo Justice, because I think they end up doing a good job with his character. Which fucking pains me to say, because I hated this fucking game and I hated Apollo Justice the first time I played through it. The journalist's story. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier? Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next. Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. I need some lip chap. I need to get, like, a humidifier for this fucking room. It gets so dry in here. Like, I've only been streaming in here for, like, half an hour. And it's ridiculous. Let's see. That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. I know very little about the case, but this guy's definitely guilty. Like, I don't know what the fuck. They're trying to accuse the guy's daughter of killing him, of killing her dad. And this is the only other guy who was there, so anyway. What are you saying, Judge? Need I remind you, the cameras are rolling. Objection! Objection. I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you? Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like... Newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even, contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote. Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well. Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. The value of his fake art, though? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like anyone doing an investigation would automatically know that he was a fake after looking at his stuff, like we've concluded. Oh my god, 2 parts dragon fruit and mango juice. Oh man. Oh, that sounds really fucking good. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Okay. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it! Damn it, is it not working? Okay. 9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview? In my headcanon, Mr. Justice is the judge's hand puppet. If the great painter Drew Mysham says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first, and as it turned out, the last interview with such a prolific painter. Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. Hold it. Hold it! You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio? Are you green screening in OBS? I am doing it in OBS. It is a pain in the ass to configure my small space to be able to do this. Green screening is a pain in the ass. I've sadly played every after this one. Wait, have you played all of them then? Or am I misunderstanding? I really like Dual Destinies. The one right after this, it gets shit on a lot, but I really like that one. Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. This is, the Ace Attorney series, came out originally on Nintendo DS. It's originally a DS series. This game came out on DS as well. The one after it came out on 3DS. And then they did re-releases for a whole bunch of the games on, like, Steam and on iOS. So this came out, when would this have come out? Like 2007, I think we were talking about this game coming out in. A basically insignificant step for all mankind, but a giant step for that Brushel guy, end quote. If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So, how did this epoch-making interview go? His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. Hold it. Let's talk about that. Would you mind being a little more specific? Ooh-wee, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait. That's not what I meant. I believe I know what Hair Forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Objection! Hey there, Eric. How's it going? The coffee this victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right. That's what I was gonna say, really.
Well, Hair Forehead.
Hair Forehead. Well, now you've got a question to ask. You'd best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the new recruits, several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto. I played half of the Phoenix. Oh, okay, and the latter half. So most of the Phoenix and Apollo games were missed. Got it. Let's see. Last console game system I had was an NEC TurboGrafx, been PC since then. There's been a lot of, you know what? There's been a lot of really good handheld gaming systems. Like, current generation, like, the Switch is really great. I also, like, I played the hell out of, like, Nintendo DS. I thought that was such a cool fucking system. Yeah. Those are my favorite handhelds. I'm really enjoying, the Switch right now as a portable gaming system. Okay. Who touched the coffee? I don't know. I was in the back, looking at the studio's equipment when she served it. And what happened next? And you know what happened next. Star falls, end quote. Hold it.
Hold it!
What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money, over. Zowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls, get it? But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter? Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, wax punch. I know, star dies. No, wax imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. The coffee? The Stars coffee? Which coffee? Probably Stars coffee, right? The second screen is right underneath me over here. Oh, it usually has all the options on it. You say Mr. Mysham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yet? I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks? End quotes. End quotes. End quote. That poison is quite virulent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault. Since I gulped down that much coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess for the record? Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? Very important or not important? Yeah, let's say it's important. Because he didn't see him drink the cup. Yeah, that's what we're talking. Yes, yes. The victim drank his coffee and then immediately fell over? Oh, yes, yes. You can go to the press with that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. And now we get to question him about that. Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony. Vital, right. He had one sip, if that. Next moment, he was on the floor. Okay.
Objection!
Take that. Objection. You know what I have a problem with? Particular property of the poison used, atroquinine. Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission? Atroquinine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion, not immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow-acting. Slow-acting? What? According to one forensic scientist. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. Is the judge listed as an expert witness? Well, fucking judge doesn't know fucking anything. He's the worst. Okay. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for the adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Mysham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Order, order. What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard. Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Slow acting. S-L-O-W-A-C-T. It was virulent, all right. I'm not sure what he was... Oh, okay. I'm not sure what joke they were going for there. I guess just saying it out loud is really slow. Whatever. Okay. It was virulent, all right. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop.
Objection!
It's Brushel. Yeah? Herr Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think, that was... not so subliminal suggestion, end quote. I admit, it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say, off Wiedersehen... fucking goddamn... Wiedersehen... I have no idea how to pronounce this fucking word. I don't know German. Wiedersehen. To my simple case. Wiedersehen. Wiedersehen. Off Wieders. Okay. God damn it. The musician is here because he's a fucking
Economist 42.
prosecutor.
Wiedersehen.
Unfortunately. Wiedersehen. Off Wiedersehen. Ah, fucking goddamn it. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you?
You never watched Sound of Music every year like my family did?
No. And the castle drags on. Other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your I can't fucking read. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. I'm tripping over every single word. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop? Scoop? Look, wait. Just wait 1 second. Just 1 second. We're waiting. We're waiting. Out with it. I think I just recall a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story's survival, end quote. Attorney utterly confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I've heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the past few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say. Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalistic skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. This mental image of some poor closed captioning typist at Google struggling to keep up with the audio. It's all robots. It's all robots. I can't imagine trying to keep up with closed captioning me live. That sounds brutal. Lack of credibility, end quote. Held in contempt, end quote. Straight to jail, end quote. Very good. Order, order. Oh, wrong voice. Order, order, order. As far as I can say, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Mysham died the instant after he drank. Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And my dream of exclusive rights to this story. Ugh. I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him. Him? Yeah, Trucy's daddy. Phoenix Wright, who else? Octung. Herr Brushel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the juris system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. Good. A second time! When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Mysham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? Suicide note? Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable. Oh my god! Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Mysham. But that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination. What Brushel noticed? When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Mysham was at his desk. I guess we should probably press that. Hold it!
Hold it!
Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Mysham? Well, his daughter Vera, of course. Was anyone besides Mr. Mysham and Vera present? Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
Inconceivable!
The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel? I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic Ramsden phenomenon ploy. End quote. I didn't get that reference. If you intend to suggest this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. Hold it.
Hold it!
So he put the letter away when he saw you? Early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. My handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in. Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Mysham, sir, sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. Oh, cool. Yeah, we have some memes there. We have some stuff there. I like our Discord server. It's a cool place. Welcome to the MCU. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one. Unlawful entry. Band name. There's a lot of good band names that we find in here. I really enjoy the writing. I really enjoy the writing in this game. Not this one specifically, the series in general. Well, Mr. Justice, I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. Yeah, I think we should probably add this to the testimony, probably. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor. All great ska bands, yeah. Need more Dream Daddy and Dad Sona. Dad Sona crime. Very well. Please add it to the testimony, then. Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. Okay, yeah. It was in a yellow envelope. Hold on. That's the pink. This is not a yellow envelope either. No, that's the autopsy report. I think I know what is missing here. Okay, hold on. Okay. I don't know if I should just present. I feel like he has the wrong color. This envelope is fucking red. Hey there, what the fun man? How's it going? Love equals plum, therefore puns equals plum. Yep, everything checks out. Maybe it wasn't red. That's possible. I'm gonna try presenting this. Objection!
Objection!
As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope. What? Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But hair forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope.
Wintermute. Lovely visual pun.
I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. Drew, right. He wanted to get that letter in an envelope, pronto. Get it out of sight, out of my beady... Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right?
Embarrassing!
Fucking embarrassing! That sound clip is from a show called Letterkenny. It's a very good show, if it's a Canadian show, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny show. His name's Mr. Brushel. He likes using that toothbrush all over the place. It's very unhygienic. So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away. And then, what about all... Wait, and what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim? That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. Yeah, that's possible. It's entirely possible. But Apollo, we checked the contents of that envelope yesterday, didn't we? Oh yeah, wait, you're right. Never mind. Sorry, thank you, Trucy. I forgot we were drinking. The answer was clear if only I'd given it a little thought. Hold on, I should probably... As it just so happens, the defense team has investigated the contents of this envelope with, the assistance of a forensic scientist. Letterkenny's full of Gavins, Apollos, judges, and Brushels. These are their problems. Very good. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Mysham. Oh? Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped! Okay, so what... Order, order, order. Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh, my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote. I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Mysham sat there searching for his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote. Okay, I know where this is going now. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why yes, I think I saw him put his letter in this box. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box. Did someone check it? Okay. Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case. Oh, how I wish it did. Just think that, if that were a suicide note, what a story. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter, falls, end quote. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said... I've never seen Twin Peaks. I know I'm fucking up. Yes, Your Honor? It makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. We have the contents for you. We did an x-ray of it. Yeah, you can post YouTube links in the chat. If you want me to see it at any point, though, you should probably post it in, we have the after stream channel in Discord. I check that after streams so that any of the links that happen during chat don't get lost. $10,000 is quite a good deal of money. We can't YouTube.com, thanks! Thanks, What the Fun Man. Please go check out YouTube.com. So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? So, am I finished here? I mean, am I finished here? I was thinking of, you know, going home to start writing. Gotcha, bro. Yeah? I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face. What is going on there? Come on! Attorney has an active imagination, little else. End quote. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a plugin for that. Might be possible. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. Judge has an active imagination, end quote. Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here. Usually. Oh God, he uses it on his tongue, and then he, like, uses it in his hair, and then, like, in his ear, and, like... Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. A story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. Okay, so they don't know he's a fucking... Does he not know he's a fake? I guess not, right? So you threatened to go to the press with this story? That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Well, yes. I mean, no. No. It wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not, something wrong, Mr. Brushel? Look. This is my story, my tidbit. Journalist's info is livelihood. End quote. I see. Well, you had me chatting away in here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally Woodsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going to press while I'm going to waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? It's the magic number. End of a story. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story gets... Okay. Hold on. He did like a weird... Does he... Does he know he's a fake? Does he know he's a fake? Hold on. Hold it.
Hold it!
Need to get more water soon. Just how amazing was Mr. Mysham's talent? Huh? Ooh-wee, boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star. The flow of his brush is like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artist paints light up studio look like paints light up studio like sun. End quote. This guy is full of wacky gestures, but that one just now is wackier than usual. He looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. Yeah, he looks pretty panicked right now. So gross. This is so gross. No, stop it. Stop it. Oh, God. Maybe it's time to bring out the you-know-what. That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. I wonder what this story he's talking about is. It must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse. Oh, you know what? Okay. He's a real painter. It's just that what he paints is forgeries of other artists. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess he is a skilled replicator. He is a skilled replicator. Also, I bet Okay, I'm guessing the fucking... Brushel definitely knows that he's a fake, and that's why he blackmailed. That's how he got an interview, because he knew he was a fake, and he was blackmailing him into giving him an interview because he knew that information. And I think that's what we're just about to find out. Something powerful enough to drag Drew Mysham out of hiding. I wonder. Maybe it had something to do with Mr. Mysham's art. Yeah, hey, there we go. Okay, hold on. Let's present, his talent was without compare. Was this it? Yes. Take that. Okay. Let's perceive his lies. He just sweat more there? Yeah, he totally did. Okay. Hold on. Wait to rehear it. Here again. Say what you will. I actually don't know if I have to perceive during. Probably when it's happening, right? Yeah, there we go. Sweaty armpits. Gotcha! Bitch.
Gotcha!
There we go. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel? Well, yeah, well... A man can't help his glands, you know. It's more than that. When Mr. Mysham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. Wow. You're hiding something about his talent. What? That's ridiculous. Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Mysham's true talent lay. It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in the letter. Are we talking about the forgery? At this point, right? Is it this one? I actually don't know which one we would present here. Is it the hidden painting? Yep, he brushes his teeth and then cleans his glasses with the toothbrush.
Courtroom vision.
Yep, we're tripping out over here right now. No more water. Beer. Beer only. Take that!
Take that!
This painting was found in Mr. Mysham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is that it wasn't painted by Mr. Mysham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then, we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. Ow! Like, is that supposed to be like an awooga? Okay. Uh-oh. That is all, Your Honor. Everyone, please, everyone! Can we keep this private, please? This is my story, my scoop!
Wintermute. He's literally tongue-tied.
If anyone hasn't seen Tim's Vermeer, I highly recommend it. It's about a guy trying to recreate a Vermeer. Oh, Vermeer, sorry, Vermeer, duh. Painting. That sounds really interesting. Is it like a documentary? Forgery, that's a serious crime. Drew Mysham is known as an artist these days, but there are rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back. Another art, meaning forgery? Drew Mysham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Economist. Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. Duh. That's why Phoenix is so interested in this case. The rumors started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago. A lucky number 7 years ago again. So are we to understand that this letter, this payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence nets tidy profit, end quote. Order, order, order. Why, it's like our victim was living a double life. Aha! This is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about.
Objection!
This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation.
Objection!
But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here.
Objection!
But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned the mug that night. And you, of course. Hey, hey, hey! The only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews. Then your investigation sucked, right? Fucking Clavier is the goddamn worst. Hello there, crazy old gamer. How's your night going? I hope you're doing well. Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable, like every other fucking witness in this goddamn game. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism's so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I really want to get some water. As soon as he starts his next testimony, I'm going to take a quick break. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial's over. Apollo! What's he talking about? The cross-examination showed Mr. Brushel didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there are no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera, that's what. This next testimony is our last chance. Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. Everyone, please go get some water, do a stretch, stand up. I'll be back in, like, a few minutes. Few minutes. Okay, hello, I'm back. Hello, hello. The interview. A recap. I got a whole- I filled my glass with water. I've already had like a fucking third of it. The only other person- oh wait, wrong voice. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She's admitted so much herself. No, I'm not drinking vodka in one glass and then beer in the other. I only have one type of alcoholic drink right now. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing. That feels like a statement I should be pressing. Because we know there was a yellow envelope. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt. Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination. Right. I still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it. The only other person- no, I'm just gonna skip ahead, to... Hold on. Touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug, and nothing left that studio. Okay. Hold it!
Hold it!
Let's talk about the yellow envelope. Can we talk about that? Not one thing? You're sure? Yep, sure can be. Well, with one exception. One exception? What? Journalist Spark Brushel does interview. Leave studio. End quote. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, you. Ah, come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still. Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? Oh my god, I have a really bad memory, and Apollo cannot fucking... Like, I remembered, because it just happened. They just mentioned it. Bottle the poison would have been in... I don't think... I think there's something else up here with the poison. So listen. He mailed an envelope. We know there was a yellow envelope on scene, and he mailed it. And also, he was fumbling around on his desk. There is a frame that we own that is exactly 2 inches by 2 inches and bears traces of poison atroquinine. I think my theory is that he had a framed stamp with poison on it. Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night? Yes. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene. By which you mean? Something other than our witness? Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Mysham. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. Then, let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice. Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene. Okay, so do we present the mailbox, or do we present... This... Mailbox? 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 Yeah, I was thinking frame 2, but I'm worried we haven't made the connection yet to say he mailed a letter. Take that? Question mark? This is the only link between the studio and the outside world. Yeah, I think this is it. A letterbox. What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that. And yeah, it was true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the leather box. The leather box. In the letterbox. But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Mysham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared? Yes, it is. Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me. We also have a fucking evidence of the... that frame! Very well, then. The witness will add this to his testimony. You got it! Okay. I still think this fails to change anything, hair forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. The letter was put in the post from the studio, but I hardly think that matters. Hold it. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you were hiding that fact from us. Yes, well, actually. I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from the studio. But, Hair Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right, how Mr. Mysham was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Brushel's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now, I'm starting to think. Sorry, very thirsty. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Clearly, the one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, the only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She's admitted that much herself. The only thing that Drew touched his lips... No, okay, so... Hold it! I'm gonna press this statement. You're sure about that? Does he use his lips to lick? No, he used his tongue. Damn it. Would have used his tongue to lick the stamp. Or maybe it was a sticker stamp. No, it wouldn't. No. He would have had to ingest it. Okay, whatever. Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time. One of those candies might have been poisoned. Yet, at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room. And no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof, I fucking do. Let me show you it. Possibility is there, I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. Not yet. And possibility isn't going to cut it, not now. Mr. Mysham ingested that poison via a route other than coffee. Yes, I can prove it. Let me show you! Let me show you! I'm trying to show you! Proof is, possible. Here goes nothing. I fucking hate this guy. Gavin's a fucking piece of shit. You do understand what we need, yeah. Proof, Hair Forehead, not possibilities. Of course. And Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. I've been ready for like 10 minutes! Let me give you the proof! What did you just say? I have proof of the disappearing envelope. I saw him writing a letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume. Of course, which means... Gavin's a fucking Tommy Pickles fan. Gavin's a fucking cop! And he's in a cop-themed band! That guy's a piece of shit. Of course, which means... that envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp? Ugh. As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. What year is it? But yes, sure. Sure. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it. By licking the stamp.
Objection!
No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age.
Objection!
But 7 years ago, maybe. Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait. How does that explain the atroquinine on the rim of the coffee mug?
Objection!
If he licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around. What? The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Mysham. Mr. Mysham poisoned the coffee mug himself. I'm back. How many testimonies has this guy had? This is the third one. They said it was the final one, but who fucking knows? Order, order, order. But that doesn't... does it? Recall, if you would. Atroquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But this time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe. So who murdered the coffee cup? We still don't know the answer to that. You have something to add, Mr. Brushel? By the way, I still have not shown this fucking evidence. Uh-oh, his nose is picking up another scent. As I believe I mentioned earlier. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Mysham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote. But, you know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one. Maybe he'd just run out? Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one. That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison? Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. Bitch, get fucking ready for this shit! Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp? Fuck you! 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 Take that! Well, that certainly is a cute little frame, and by little, I mean really little. Grab Gavin's dick and twist it! Grab his dick and twist it! It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection, so what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important. Missing something? Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atroquinine residue! What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You aren't sane. Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps? Order, order, order! The poison stamp was in this frame? Impossible. But Prosecutor Gavin, why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck. You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see? What, Mr. Brushel? And please stop jittering around like that. The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too, end quote. So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him?
Objection!
This asshole. Fuck this guy! He is the worst prosecutor in the entire series. Oh, Rich. That's Rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gavineers' song lyrics, please. Finally, something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again. Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Mysham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail. The mail. Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew they read letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Yeah, gee, who would commit a murder with any extraneous details or convoluted methods? Yeah, hold on! Hold on, Economist says, very good point. He's not only in a cop band, it's a cop band named after himself. He is the fucking worst. He is the worst prosecutor in this series. Okay. Show us the evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together. What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Mysham was killed. Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice. A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with intent to kill sent Mr. Mysham the stamp of death. Can I? Can we check what's here? Gavin is literally the worst. Please send receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Sign the papers and send the envelope with the stamp the enclosed stamp. Oh, there we go. There we go. I see the word stamp. I can't read everything it says here, but it's the stamp. Fuck you. Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago? Think about the text of the letter again. Gotta go enjoy the rest of Court Crime. Well, thank you, What the Fun Man, for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you around. There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor. In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp, poison, on the stamp, lick, gasp, end quote. You fucking asshole. Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and then put a stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox. 15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. The clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. Haha, do you get it? Because his name's Drew. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene. Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system. You fucking asshole, stop playing air guitar in court! What the actual fuck? Such a splendid imagination you have, Hair Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So this poison stamp was inside the envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you'd have us believe, really? What, well... Fuck the post office. It is a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope? A stamp that then became the murder weapon? How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well... it was 7 years ago and we don't even know who sent that fucking letter. And your answer is silence, I see. Very well. I move to... Who is this? Who is... Oh, you know what? I wonder if this is... Hold on. Maybe this is Daddy Phoenix? It's not nice to pick on the Fräulein Clavier. Oh no, it's fucking... It's Gavin's bro. No, wait. Hold on. Is it also Emma? Oh, okay. What? Is it Karma? I'm guessing there is not a return address on that red letter. Why did it show Gavin's bro and then Emma? Are they both here? No, he's in jail, isn't he? Emma. Well, oh, they're okay. I see. Okay, she was doing an impression, but I had no idea beforehand, so I couldn't read that properly. Okay. They docked like a Voltron and they're one person now. Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression, did I sound like him? Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone had to come dig you out of all this mess you're making out of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out if that stamp was in that envelope. Easy. Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? Glare at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right. The poison detection spray. Are we gonna have to poison detect? Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it on the authority of the court. Okay. Spray! Spray, 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 spray. Fuck. Oh. Oh, shit! Hey, it looks like a stamp. Well, would you look at that? No mistaking it. That's atroquinine residue. I don't believe it. Murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Objection!
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Mysham figured it out. Figured what out? He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp. And then put his decisive evidence in a frame. Ugh, you're still here? can I make a statement here on the record? I, Spark Razortooth Brushel, claim this scoop as mine. Drew Mysham killed in cold blood. By sender of 7-year-old letter, end quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7-year delay, end quote. Fuck off, Brushel. Spark Razortooth Brushel. Order, order, order. I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp is ticket straight to afterlife, end quote. Uh-oh. I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge. I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant. Apollo? I think we just won. Very well, this court finds the defendant... Fuck you, Gavin! Is this the bright future of our legal system? Investigate this open elevator shaft, Brushel, end quote. Prosecutor Gavin? A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for Gavinier's shows are invalid after 2 weeks. What a fucking piece of shit! But it doesn't make sense any other way. It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in Herr Forehead's claim. A contradiction? A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Mysham have done what he did? Emma explained that. He must have realized it was poisoned. Therein lies the rub. The stamp is also a knife that is also a key. Is this the fucking lost room? 7 years ago, if the forger Drew Mysham sensed the trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why, 7 years later, did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Mysham simply forgot? He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and... forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? Well, I admit this is all quite shocking myself. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of the trap that had been sitting on his desk for 7 years. Apollo? I don't think we're winning anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you. Fuck off! Objection, fuck off! Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? The poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed. What about the atroquinine residue, huh? Oh, I agree. That does seem to be atroquinine residue. But, Herr Forehead, it's certainly no stamp. Yeah, but... even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Mysham never would have used it. That is all. How does any of this implicate Vera? I think because she's literally the only other person there. I don't know why they would think his daughter would do it, as opposed to, like, this random fucking dude who was blackmailing him.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Gavin. I believe we've come to a conclusion, again. Apollo? Were we wrong the whole time? I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be coincidence. I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor? Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Mysham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison atroquinine on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene. On this tiny picture frame, the defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it. Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, and Drew Mysham knowingly put this in a frame, he never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right, which means there is a fatal flaw in the defense's case. I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of atroquinine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Mysham's mysterious death? They're all connected somehow. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us? The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense. Which means that one of our clues must be a fake. A fake clue. Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's thrown us all off the poison trail is none other than... What? What? I don't think the red envelope's fake, and I also don't think the frame is fake. I can see the frame. Is it Drew? Is Drew the answer here? Drew's actions don't line up with what he did, right? Did the reporter make him lick that stamp? Oh well, we didn't save state. Oops, oh well. I think we're okay. The music stopped. Maybe we're okay. The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand. I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Objection! Congratulations, you've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fakes himself? The forager? It makes a good story, I'll give you that. Hey there, Gaffafa-Wisp, how's it going? The fake clue, fakes, forgeries. Ah! I know that face. That's the I just had an idea face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again. Wait. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why? And that's what I want to know. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are. Oh, wrong voice. Here we are again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. Is it his daughter? Is his daughter the actual forger? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, right? How old? 7 years ago, how old? Hold on. Yeah, she'd probably still, yeah. This is definitely possible. How many forgers does it take to screw in a light bulb? Order, order, order! So you were telling us that Drew Mysham, the victim, was a fake. Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? You better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo. I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story. Mr. Justice, show us who the real Drew Mysham was. Only a 12-year-old would put a stamp in its own cute little frame. If Drew Mysham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. The forger Drew Mysham was himself a forgery. The real forger was... Vera! Take that! Take that! There can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger known as Drew Mysham is none other than his only daughter, Vera Mysham. Order, order, order! Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you. I kinda agree. I mean, Vera a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger. It's the same judge from Ace Attorney. That judge is the only constant in the series, actually. I'm pretty sure he's in every single game. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger. There is one case in the trilogy, if you haven't finished it yet, where they do something very good with the judge. Yeah, he's learned exactly nothing from those cases. Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense. One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. I was playing last night at the end of the Edgeworth shooting on the lake case. Fuck, that case is so goddamn good. That case is so good. Nice, nice. Yeah, you're almost done with, yeah, Gordy. You're almost done with the first, like, the original release of that game. They added a 5th case to the first game after it came out on DS. I was thinking of skipping 2 because I heard it was shit. So you know what? You know what, Kafafawisp? I'm not sure how... 2 was my least favorite out of the trilogy, but I replayed it on stream, like a year ago, and it was not as bad as I remember it being. I think it's worth playing. I think you should play it. There is one section in that game that is fucking annoying as hell. But I think it's worth it overall for the story. Okay, Drew Mysham and Vera Myshams. If we know that Drew Mysham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Mysham. Well... What a fucking piece of shit. This guy's Tommy Pickles tier. Fascinating. Vera Mysham. You've been paying attention to the trial so far. Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger, Drew Mysham? Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Frolines, believe me. Though they usually talk to me, too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes. So, the forger Drew Mysham was you? Yes, it was me. What? What? The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. To be continued! 10 minutes is gonna be until Monday, everyone. A several-day recess. Save.